This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Good morning, everyone. Believe it or not, this is our final broadcast for March, and given it is my favorite month, we made sure to give it a proper send-off. This week is full of initiatives and ways residents can become more involved in their community, paired with several anniversary celebrations and spring activities. With that, we jump right into the news for March 28th, 2025. Representatives for National Grid were on site during the Utilities Subcommittee meeting this past Tuesday, the 25th. 3 employees of National Grid opened the meeting with the presentation, citing colder winters and increased rates as the main reasons for higher gas bills. They then transitioned into discussions on programs they offer, such as Mass Save, deferred payment agreements, medical protection, and the Home Energy Assistance Program for those who are struggling to keep up with the ever-rising costs. The floor was then open to residents who asked questions about the high delivery charges on their bills, the inclusion of Mass Save on bills, and the increased cost of gas. From there, councilors got their chance to ask questions about potential rebates during power outages, while emphasizing the importance of competition in the market. Here is more of what they had to say.
I want to talk a little bit about the components of your gas bill, and there are 2 main components. It's delivery and supply. Delivery being the cost to safely and reliably distribute, maintain, and operate the natural gas system, and it also includes charges for programs, mandated programs like Mass Save, low-income programs, and gas system enhancement program, which is also known as GSEP. On the supply side, the supply charge refers to National Grid's cost to purchase gas without markup or profit.
I believe that you've done a great job in Lynn reaching out to let people know what the programs are. The problem is those that don't qualify for the programs that are just over. I've got people here that are willing to share their bill, that their delivery fee is more than their usage fee.
Also, the Mass Save push to keep converting to like splits. Now you have to be 100% with splits to use them for AC to get any sort of rebate. Mass Save is a great thing. I've used some of their programs, but I think at this point, the amount we're paying in for Mass Save and these higher pricing, for whatever reason, is just not really, the math isn't making sense anymore.
Why can't we have our own gas company? Why do we have to have National Grid? Why can't it be like Peabody, where they have their own electric company? They service Linfield and other places. And they don't charge a delivery.
Mr. Lamanna, Attorney Lamanna, is this something our city could do research about the Peabody experience? Can we, this is the first time I heard of this, and
That's why I just asked. I don't know. I'm just asking the question, you know.
it's just nice to know about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So the problem right now that I see about this isn't so much, whose fault it is for the increases and stuff, and we can debate that, and that's obviously on the state level. There's no competition. And years ago, if I remember right, there was a company called Standard Oil out there. And if I remember right, they broke up the monopoly over the fact that they controlled everything, which was a good thing that they did that.
How do we try to get that word out so that people are able to understand by the winter months this was the rate that was adopted, this is what I have to prepare for. Of course, there was none of that this fall. There was none of that in our high seasons of heating.
If you're passionate about these and other issues in the city, you can run for office in this election year. Nomination papers can now be picked up at the election room of City Hall, room 203. In order to be listed on the ballot, candidates need a specific number of signatures, depending on the position they are running for. A nomination for mayor requires 500 signatures, not more than 150 of which shall be from one ward. To run for councilor at large or school committee, 350 signatures must be collected, not more than 100 of which shall be from one ward. Finally, a ward councilor nomination must obtain 100 signatures from their ward. Candidates should also collect 20% more than the required amount to account for non-voters. For more information, visit lynnma.gov. The Lynn Museum and Arts Center joined forces with a dozen organizations to put on a Women's History Through Art Night spanning 3 locations and 3 hours. Attendees learned about the women who pushed boundaries and earned the rights we enjoy today. Capped off by powerful performances in the Vault Theater by 2 current-day trailblazers.
This is the 3rd consecutive year that the League of Women Voters of Massachusetts has collaborated with the 11 partners that are here tonight to represent Women's History Month in some fashion. I wanted to do something back here, but with the arts. I want to put an A in STEM. I don't want to hear STEM, I want to hear STEAM, because I believe the power of the arts through art expression, through theater, through film, is as important as anything else. So we have collaborated again with Danica in her beautiful space here at Lynn, and we are here for the opening.
I think this event is a real testament to the power of women in their community. When women are doing well, we know our economies do well, our households do well, our communities are stronger. And to be here in this space focused on art, particularly art in this amazing city of Lynn.
And now we're going over to the art galleries to look at some paintings that have been done by women painting women in support of the Women's History Month, and those pieces are for sale.
The Massachusetts Women's History Center was established only a couple of years ago, but it was based on and comes from Suffrage 100 Massachusetts. So we've had many events over the years leading up to the 100th. We had a terrific event at Faneuil Hall for the 100th anniversary of Massachusetts being the 8th state to ratify the 19th Amendment. And then the pandemic hit. And then we had to decide whether or not to stay open. Many suffrage organizations did close, but with the sky at that time beginning to fall, we decided to stay open and build on our history that we had accumulated on the suffrage movement in Massachusetts, and build on that to expand to all of Massachusetts women's history.
Certainly in our administration, we pride ourselves on opening doors for other, widening the table. We have one of the most diverse cabinets in the state's history, largely led by women, people of color, folks with a diverse array of experiences. We firmly believe that the idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion makes us better and stronger and leads to better outcomes. We are not afraid to say those words.
And then we finish in the theater, the Black Box Theater, and we are going to have 2 vocalists perform for us, and we're going to call it a night.
There's no light to bring fruit to conception, much less birth. If your souls could be measured at this point, what would be its worth? I've been walking with my face into the sun.
Community commuters will have another option to get from Lynn to Boston when the ferry returns on March 31st. The first boat will depart the pier at Blossom Street Extension bright and early at 6 a.m. next Monday for the trip to Long Wharf in Boston. The ferry will have 5 weekday trips to Boston daily, beginning at 6 a.m. with the final boat departing at 6:30 p.m. The first boat will leave Long Wharf at 6:45 a.m. and the final trip of the day at 7:15 p.m. Weekend service will resume on Memorial Day weekend, May 24th, with 6 daily trips to the city beginning at 8 a.m. Capacity is 150 people. A one-way trip is $7 or $3.50 for reduced fare riders, with children 11 and under free. The ferry was reinstated by the MBTA after a 5-year hiatus and was utilized by more than 30,000 commuters last year. It is hard to believe that we are already at the end of March. To this end, the MBTA has announced service changes for April on the blue, green, red, Newburyport, Rockport, Haverhill, Lowell, Franklin, Foxborough, and Mattapan lines. Newburyport, Roxbury commuter rail services will be suspended the weekend of April 5th through the 6th, and from Friday through Sunday, April 25th through the 27th. Per usual, express buses will operate directly between Swampscott and North Station. Shuttle buses will also make local stops between Swampscott, Lynn, Wonderland, the Chelsea Station, and North Station. The last outbound shuttle buses will make additional stops at Salem and Beverly Depot. Commuter rail fares will also be free between Swampscott and Newburyport or Rockport during that time. Greek independence was the subject for the most recent flag raising last Tuesday, the 25th. Members of the Greek community and Lynn community at large gathered to celebrate their heritage and contributions made to society.
Members of the community and Lynn delegation gathered to celebrate Greek Independence Day with the flag raising at City Hall the afternoon of the 25th. Organized every year by the St. George Greek Orthodox Church to commemorate the Greek War for Independence against Ottoman occupation, which ended in their recognition as an independent state in 1830. The holiday was first celebrated in 1841, and today, children wore traditional outfits and sang the Greek national anthem, before Mayor Nicholson added his own remarks on the importance of recognizing and celebrating all cultures in the city of Lynn.
Thank you all so much for joining us to celebrate and for being here. This City Hall is your City Hall, and we're so honored and fortunate to have had the contributions of the Greek community for many years now, and so fortunate to have those contributions honored and continued today with our young people, with everyone that's so amazing about keeping these traditions alive and passing them on. There's so much for us to learn, and it makes our community a stronger and richer place to be able to have that connection to your past. And when you put it all together here in Lynn, it's our past. We celebrate everyone's heritage, and we're honored to celebrate Greek heritage today. Awesome.
For LCTV News, I'm Dani Vittori.
The Open Door, a community resource center servicing 10 communities, is focused on feeding the communities of Lynn and Danvers through their mobile market program. According to Sarah Groh, their Director of Advocacy and Development, they have seen a 20% increase in demand for their services since last year, with a 30% increase from 2023 to 24. As stated in their report, 53% of students in the area find themselves struggling with meals financially. Therefore, the Open Door is expanding their mobile markets around the North Shore community campuses. Students and community members alike can visit their mobile markets on the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 11 a.m. to noon at 300 Broad Street. According to the organization's fact sheet, mobile markets served just over 2,000 people and distributed 167,000 pounds of food to the community through 2024. LynnTV.org is officially multilingual. For those visiting our website, click on the flag in the bottom left corner to switch between a dozen different languages. Here is more.
LynnTV.org es el mejor recurso de Lynn para obtener información gratuita sobre noticias y eventos, y ahora puedes verlo en varios idiomas. Al visitar LynnTV.org, encontrarás un selector de idioma en la esquina inferior izquierda, predeterminado en inglés. Puedes hacer clic en él y seleccionar español, Khmer o otro idioma. El texto de nuestro sitio web cambiará automáticamente a ese idioma. Esto se encuentra en el mismo lugar tanto en la versión de escritorio como en la versión móvil de LynnTV.org. Así, puedes seguir accediendo al contenido de LCTV en cualquier momento y desde cualquier lugar, y ahora puedes verlos en varios idiomas.
We have hit the 2-week period in the year when winter sports have ended, but spring sports have not taken over. So instead, test your knowledge of Lynn sports in this brand new segment, the Sports Sprint. When was the last time Lynn teams from 2 different schools won a state championship in the same year? Was it A, 1980, B, 1999, or C, 2002? The correct answer is C, 2002. Lynn Tech boys won the Division III North Sectional Finals, and St. Mary's girls won the Division III MIAA State Championship in basketball. Who was the youngest player to hit the 1,000-point mark in basketball this season? Is it A, Giovanni Jean of Lynn Tech, B, Bella Awumi of St. Mary's, or C, Trotsky Pena of KIPP? The correct answer is B, Bella Awumi, a sophomore at St. Mary's who hit the 1,000-point mark earlier this year. Here we go, the final question. Who recorded the most shutouts for Lynn in hockey this year? Was it A, Gianna Tringali of St. Mary's, B, Matt Smith Jr., also of St. Mary's, or C, Nicholas Denino of the Lynn Jets? And the answer is B. Matt Smith Jr., a goalie for St. Mary's boys hockey, recorded 7 shutouts for the Spartans. 9 games are all that remain in the 2025 regular season for basketball. The second-seeded Boston Celtics began their trip out west with a 113-95 victory over the Sacramento Kings. Defense was the name of the game, as Boston recorded 4 blocks, 14 steals, and held the Kings to 17 points in the final quarter. Jason Tatum was injured and came out of the game in the third quarter, but he still posted a team-high 25-point night, followed closely by Peyton Pritchard's 22. The C's were without Tatum on the 26th, but dominated the Phoenix Suns 132-102. 6 Boston players posted double-digit nights, led by Kristaps Porzingis' 30 and Al Horford's 16-point, 10-rebound performance. They scored 42 points in the first quarter and never looked back. Baseball season is back, and the Red Sox began this new year on a high note, winning their opener 5-2 over the Texas Rangers. Knotted 2-2 in the ninth, Wilyer Abreu launched his second homer of the day, a 3-run Johnson, into the Texas bullpen. Reliever Justin Slater then sat the Rangers down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the inning to secure the victory. Lynn is home to people from around the world who come here and enrich the city with their cultures and experiences. The New American Association of Massachusetts came back on the Lowdown to share the programming they offer for new arrivals, ranging from job search classes to housing assistance. Hear more on the Lowdown. Hello and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we welcome back members from the New American Association of Massachusetts. Thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you. Of course. So just first things first, would you mind just introducing yourselves to the audience and saying what your role is in the organization?
Sure. My name is Natasha Soolkin. I'm an executive director of the New American Association of Massachusetts.
And I am Alexa Arena. I am the Director of Employment Services, and I also manage operations for the organization.
Great. So before we dive right into the questions about all the amazing courses, things you offer, would you be able to just give a quick little recap as to the services you offer, because you have been going through so much change lately, adding so many new things?
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to start about the organization, kind of remind everybody what it is we're doing in general and what is our mission. Mm-hmm. So our mission is to support the newcoming refugees and immigrants in their integration to the United States, to become independent, economically independent, and to find their path in the United States and be healthy, safe, and maintain their cultural identity. Mm-hmm. And to do that, I mean, we went through many stages. We were much smaller at the beginning, and I wasn't born as an executive director. I was working as a case manager for many years, and that gives me kind of a different perspective of what it is we're doing. I'm also an immigrant, and that another layer kind of to give me an opportunity to know what is happening with newcomers. And now we've grown a lot. I think every day is an adventure, because every day something else is happening. Yeah. And I have to say that we have a team of people for whom this is not just work, this is basically lifestyle. Yeah. And that's how we create things, that's how we offer things. Our main focus is to have people feel welcomed, to have people feel belonged to where they are, and to always have friendly and nice faces, and kind of who lead them through their paths in the United States for the first few years, at least in the country. So we are offering lots of services, and we're also creating lots of services. Each of the service we offer is kind of tailored to the community we serve, to the cultural group we serve, to the individuals and families, and we're always looking at what skills they have and what interests and what talents, and kind of fit where the programs. We offer English classes. We just on the way here tried to count the number, so it's about 26 classes now. Wow. And the English classes we offer, it's mainly kind of life skills English and survival English and English to work, and English through various projects for those who haven't been exposed to much education. We offer English to parents of children who attend Lynn public schools, and a lot more. We have morning classes and evening classes. We run job trainings. We have one. I'm not going to go into details yet. I wanted to give Alexa an opportunity to talk, but again, every day something is happening, something new developing based on what we know about people we serve and based on our interests as well. So kind of, like we participate in everything we do with with the population we work with. Want to add something?
Sure. I think I would just add that in addition to that strengths-based approach that you mentioned, we also are really focusing on promoting self-sufficiency. So helping these families get from being new and being kind of adjusting to life to being more settled and more stable.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and you definitely do that. Even the objects behind you are made by people in the classes. If you want, I know you wanted to speak about that.
Thank you for noticing that. I'm very proud to kind of draw the attention to these objects. These are not just objects; they are basically products of our people who come to our services. We started 3 years ago. We started a group, and it was like social networking group of Afghan women who are coming to our center just to, again, socialize and to be with each other. And we came with a project for them to make clothes, which they were doing all their lives. And this project grew significantly. So now you see what they're making, and they're making through to the markets and to the craft shows and festivals, and they're selling these products. We have a website specifically designed for them through which they can sell the products. We added this year to this program another part. We call it used to be called Afghan Women Workshop. We added another group, and now the program called NAAM Artisan. And we have a Ukrainian group. We just had them this morning in our center, and they also make beautiful, absolutely amazing things, and you see them there. It's fun to be with them. It's fun to watch them while they're creating these beautiful objects.
And as even what you were both saying, you're taking skills they already possess and showing them how to make it into something where they can support themselves, be self-sufficient, make money off of it.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, that's the
empowerment.
It's an empowerment, and that's exactly our mode is. We assess the skills, and then we work with the skills to develop into something bigger. These women who came to this country 3 years ago, they never thought that it's really a skill. I mean, they were making clothes,
Which
right?
is where it started. They knew how to sew, but they didn't necessarily know how to parlay that skill into something that could be earning extra income for their family, could be a way of building connection and community, because a lot of them were placed in homes that were kind of isolated from each other. They didn't know anyone when they first got to the U.S., so it was community building, empowerment, micro-entrepreneurship kind of all just came together.
Yeah, so we would love to grow this project as one of the great examples of how to build on skills people possess and kind of make it work in general, and make people happy with what they do and feel kind of fulfilled. So that's the important part of that.
That's definitely a huge piece of what you do, and I know there's so many other kinds of classes that you offer, not just skills, but also talking about like health, work, programs. I mean, Alex, I know you do a lot of the employment services, so how does it look from that angle usually? Like, what are you teaching them or helping them with?
We start wherever the person is at. So usually it's assessing what are their barriers to employment. So it's understanding, do they have stable housing? Do their kids have childcare? Do they have food at home? Everything that just makes your life livable and makes you a good candidate to go to work and makes you stable enough to go to work. And then when we reach that point, so English classes are a big part of that, because in order to secure a job here and maintain a job here, you really need to be speaking some amount of English. So we would then focus on, because everything is online these days and everything is done with devices, everything is done with a computer or a tablet or a phone, we offer digital literacy classes. So we're training people how to use a computer, how to log into an online meeting, and then they join our classes that way, but that's also for things like if they have a health appointment, telehealth, if they have really any kind of meeting, a meeting with the kids' school. There's so many things that are online nowadays. Yeah. So we're focusing on life skills that are also directly modeling how they will need to behave when they start working. Yeah. And then as soon as they're ready for that, we would help people write a resume, do mock interviews to prep them, help them with the application process itself, and then when they secure a job, helping with anything they need to actually retain the job. So anything related to like HR, getting the right clothing that they need, the right transportation in place so that they can get to work. So we really help facilitate all of those pieces.
Yeah, definitely job trainings, right? I mean, that's part of it. So you can mention the culinary training we're running right now. That's one of the things we do in person, and I think it's beautiful. You just visited them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a very special project that we have right now. So just down the street at the Phoenix Food Hub, we are using the kitchen and the clients are learning. It's all Haitian Creole speakers right now.
Oh, nice.
And they are learning. It's the Serve Safe curriculum that they're following. So it's how to safely prepare food, how to safely store food, how to safely handle food, and then each class they do prepare a different meal. So it's the actual techniques as well. And that's 2 days a week, and the other 2 days a week they're in English classes geared towards working in the hospitality or food sector.
Food industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think you just covered every base I could possibly think of, which is amazing, really helping them. And I know I do have to wrap up in a moment. It always goes by so quickly, but was there anything else that I hadn't mentioned that you wanted to make sure we touched upon?
Well, I think what I wanted to say is that the people we serve, they are extremely strong and motivated and driven, and I mean, I'm certain they would be absolutely fine with us, but without us. But I feel like we provide this humanish basis for them to make it through and to adjust and to find their path in the United States. Yeah. And I think it's an important way to have people feel confident and move on.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, that was well said. I don't know that I have anything to add to that.
She said it so perfectly, right? That I go, what else can I add to this?
Summary.
No, but you can tell both of you the passion that you have, how amazing it is, and you providing such a vital service to all these people. And I'm just so happy that you could come on again to really shine a light on this.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful to be here.
One more thing. I would just
wrap it up.
Yeah, I would just add that our clients are incredibly resilient. They motivate us and inspire us every day, and it's our passion for getting to know them and working with them that brings us to show up to work every day. And I learn more from my clients than they do from me.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful job. It's a beautiful place to work.
There we go. There's our mic drop moment. I cannot possibly add anything else to that. And once again, thank you for watching The Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and we'll see you next week with more guests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Celebrate the 125th anniversary of the Lynn Public Library next Thursday, April 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. Interestingly enough, the library was actually located in City Hall from 1867 to 1900 before moving to their current location and opening with 8 employees. Head to 5 North Common Street the night of the 3rd to learn more of these fun facts, as well as information regarding the building's architecture, art, and history. This event is free and open to the public, and no registration is required. Girls age 6 to 16 and boys age 4 to 12, dust off those gloves and come participate in one of East Little League's free baseball and softball clinics. Occurring every Saturday through mid-April, the next one takes place on April 5th from 1 to 4 p.m. Softball will be held at Breed Middle School, ages 6 to 7 from 1 to 2 p.m., followed by 8 to 16-year-olds from 2 to 4. Senior tryouts will also be held from 2 to 3 p.m. For baseball, go to Lynn English High, 1 to 2 p.m. for 4 to 8-year-olds, and 2 to 3 for 9 to 12-year-olds. All kids must wear sneakers and bring their own glove. Circling back to the theme of anniversaries, the Food Project is celebrating 2 decades on the North Shore. In recognition of their 20-year mark, community members are invited to join them for an intimate and unique dining experience at the Lydia Pinkham Building. Taking place at 5 p.m. on Sunday, April 6th, seating is limited and registration is required. Off-street parking will also be provided. Visit their website or lyntv.org to learn more, check prices, and register. That was the bottom of the 9th and the end of this week's news. For all our latest videos and our extensive community calendar, head to lyntv.org. If you prefer to hear about announcements or developments in real time, then @Lynn Community TV on social media is for you. If you're interested in staff and promo videos, then visit Lynn Community Television on YouTube. I'm Dani Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.